Okay, so just a standard tuning on this one, E, A, D, G, B, E, and at a certain point we'll have two guitars going, and then there's kind of this, what sounds to me like a harmonica, or probably like a synth harmonica sound, something like that. That's happening as well. So we'll try to get that all covered. It kind of starts as if it were already into the heavy part, but eventually it kind of resets to where like the beginning of the whole progression is. So we start there. Here at kind of more of a cleaner, kind of not as dynamic part yet. Start here with this little riff where we'll be at the high E5, bounce it between 7G a couple times, and then we end up at 6 on the B, hit that, maybe a little hesitation, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, something like that. And then we'll shift to this next spot where we'll be at 5s on the E and the B, go 5E, 5B, come over, hit the 8 on the E, back to the 5B, then the 5E, and then just stay on that 5B for a few more, and then do a little 5, 6, 5, something like that. Doesn't have to be super set in stone, can play around with that a bit. But then we'll go back to the first bit. All right, and then essentially after that, we'll just start the whole thing over again. So just kind of do the same thing again. All right, and as far as that like harmonica thing, it's doing something like this, where we'll be at G, we'll go 7, 7, 5, D, we go 8, 7, and we just kind of repeat that. Okay. Right. And then eventually, as we kind of lead into like the heavier section, we get this like scaling up of some octaves, and you can just do that here on the A and G string, where we go 6 and 8, and we just kind of hit that, slide it up to the 8 and 10, strum that out for a bunch there, and then up to the 10 and 12 for a handful, and then ultimately up to the 13 and 15. Something like that. And then kind of like the heavy riff comes in, and it kind of does like what at the intro, where it'll come in like at the halfway point, because those lead ups are kind of like the you know, the pickup into it. So it kind of starts at like the last two chords in like the real progression. So we'll start here at the B flat power chord, so just 6E with the 8 on the A and D there. And initially you can just do like a couple strums. Or if you want it a little busier, you can just kind of strum through it. But the beat definitely kind of feels like those two hits. So it's up to you, whatever you want to do there. And then drop it down to the G power chord at the 3E5 on the A and D, same deal. And now we're going to do a compounded D power chord, so just do the 5 on the E with the 5A, and then the 7 on the D and G. Take the same compounded shape there down to a C, so we got the 3s and then the 5s. Alright, and now basically we're going to cycle the whole thing. Alright, so once we hit the D to C, then we'll do the B flat at the 6 and 8s to the G. Alright, and then we start it all over from the D, C, B flat to G. Okay, and over the top of that, eventually at the outro, we kind of switch the strumming dynamic where for the outro we're mostly doing more like a quarter note style, or you can just do like 4 strums and just kind of like accenting every other one. Something like that, just a little more strumming towards the end there. And then the second guitar is just doing kind of like long slides from 14 to 10 on the G. Something like that. Do this a couple times, and then you take that 14 up to 17, back down to 14. Playing around with that. And the harmonica vibe is doing like high E, goes 17 to 10. Bounce with that a couple times. And then it does a little bit of a scale down where we'll be in this position again, and we go 5E, 6B a couple times. Do a 7-5-7 G, and then walk it down to the 5G D string, 8 to 7.